We start on the Thursday nighter, 8:20 p.m. Eastern. New York Jets 2-5, 0-4 on the road at Indianapolis Colts 3-5, 1-3 at home. We're at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. The Jets offense is putting up 230.9 yards of passing a game, and they are last in the league with just 75.6 rushing yards. Defensively, they allowed 275.5 through the air and 115.1 on the ground. The Colts go for 228.9 yards of passing a game and run for 122. They allow 243.6 in through the air and 100.8 on the ground. We'll start with the market move in this spot, and I'm not entirely sure. My site's been messing with me today, so I'll double check a couple things. But at this point, Colts open up at 10.5. That's where they stand right now. This total opened up at 47. We now see 46.5 on the board. When we go over to the cash flow in this spot, we have 3,795 tickets in. On the spread, 44% of the tickets and 86% of the cash is on the Indianapolis Colts in the early money. Then we have 59% of the tickets on the over, but just 8% on the over. And I personally want to bet the New York Jets team total under, but it's 16.5, heavily juiced to the over. So I'm going to patiently wait to see if it's possible to get a 17 or 17.5. Jets come in off that big 34-31 win at home over the Bengals. Mike White threw for 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, caught a 2-point conversion. He looked great. Joe Cam Newton is the only player since at least 1950 to throw for 400 or more yards in their first career start. 37-45, set an NFL record for the most completions in a player's first start. Overcame 2 early interceptions. Became the Jets' first 400-yard passer since Vinny Testaverde. 481 yards on Christmas Eve 2000. That's 327 games they haven't had a 400-yard passer. Michael Carter ran 15 times for 77 yards and a touchdown. He caught 9 passes for 95 yards. Ty Johnson ran 4 times for 15 yards, caught 5 passes for 71 yards. I do not understand why the Bengals weren't able to stop the short passes. But I know that Frank Reich will be able to. And if Mike White wants to beat the Colts, he's going to have to throw deep. So I think that it was this glorious day for Mike White that won't happen again here on Thursday. Jamison Crowder caught 8 passes for 84 yards. Elijah Moore, 6 passes for 67 yards. They had become the first team to go scoreless in the opening period in the first 6 games of the season since the 2008 Detroit Lions. They scored on their first drive, 8-yard touchdown run. LaFleur was in the booth instead of on the sideline. So their offensive coordinator, I don't know if that really helped them or not. Maybe it did help them. Salah chose to take the ball for the first time rather than defer. C.J. Mosley had 10 tackles. They had 3 sacks, 5 quarterback hits. Left tackle George Fant carted off the field with an ankle injury. He was replaced by Chuma Edoga. Wide receiver Corey Davis, running back Tevin Coleman, defensive end Bryce Huff, tight end Trevin Wesco were all inactive and listed as questionable this week. Let's start with the Jets, Bebsie. Do you think that Mike White is capable of continuing where he left off? Or do you think he's in for a rude awakening when he only gets 72 hours to rest and prep for the Indianapolis Colts?
I mean, anybody who pretends to know the answer to that is lying to themselves. We don't know anything about Mike White. We've seen him play one very impressive game. He came in relief of the injured Zach Wilson and played fine. He was at least calm and somewhat under control, and he followed it up with a very solid performance against the Bengals. I think the Jets maybe took the Bengals by surprise. I'm glad I was talked off that because it would have been an even worse week for me than it was. But yeah, it's going to be a much tougher week. You're facing DeForest Buckner. You're facing Darius Leonard. You're facing a Colts team that, quite frankly, needs to win to stay relevant right now. If they drop a game here to the Jets, it's going to be, especially at home on a Thursday. This is a game that the Colts have to win. I think if you're betting on more Mike White magic, then you're chasing fool's gold.
Well, I want the Jets team total under 16, and I'm gonna wait. Right now, the under 16.5 is at plus 100. I'm gonna double check what it is right now here at my book, but under 16.5 is at plus 105. So this is going to move up. So people are going to believe what they saw last week. The over 16.5 is now minus 135. Obviously, that's a key point. That's a very key point. the 16.5 to 17.5. There's Big Ragu in the house. He's on the Braves tonight on the 3-way line. Dennis Garcia says, I don't want the Jets off a win. Rookie head coaches on Thursday night are terrible. Now there's film on White. Let's move over to the Colts here. Coming in off a 34-31 overtime loss at home versus Tennessee. Carson Wentz, 27 of 51 for 231 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Kevin Byard picked off Carson Wentz, in Colts territory. It set up the Randy Bullock 44-yard field goal. It was a wild finish to that game. Wentz had thrown just 1 interception all season before he threw 2 in the final 7.5 minutes. Michael Pittman caught 10 passes for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. T.Y. Hilton caught 2 passes for 16 yards before suffering a concussion. He's already been ruled out for this game. It's tough to get through the concussion protocol in 3 or 4 days. Bobby Okereke, we've been told that that's how to pronounce his name now, had 12 tackles. Kenny Moore, 9 tackles, 2 passes deflected, 3 sacks, 5 quarterback hits. Kenny Moore and Tyquan Lewis each had interceptions. Tyquan Lewis did injure his knee in the game, and he was placed on IR. Kari Willis, safety calf injuries listed as questionable. Quarterback Bo Pete Keys and Quentin Nelson were inactive and are listed as questionable this week. So it's pretty simple for me. I want this New York Jets team total under, and I will check it every hour until it moves up, and I can go under it. JT says that under 17.5 would be a great number. And John Dozier said, I can't really lay 10.5 with the Colts with Wentz giving points away. Do you have any? I know that you choose not to hammer Thursday nights. Maybe it's time to switch that up, Bebsie.
Look, Robert Saleh switched things up. The Jets switched things up. LaFleur went up to the booth. Saleh deferred. But I'm not doing it because I'm not confident in Thursday nights. I'm doing it as my form of protest in standing with the NFL players. I do not support Thursday night football. I do not want it to exist. I don't even watch it. I don't watch Thursday night football. I fucking hate it.
Okay, well, I'm going to move on the team total under for the New York Jets, and I will wait patiently to do that. If I like the Jets team total under, it would probably mean that I have interest in the under 46.5, but the Jets defense is not giving me any confidence, although they got some key members back. Nice to see Sean May out there, but I don't.
Man's got to have a code, Jimmy. Man's got to have a code.
Yeah, I get it. I guess, if I had a free play, I'd take the Colts and the under on those free plays. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to focus on
if I was going to bet this game, if there was an angle I wanted in this game, I believe I would take the under, because I think it's, you're looking at the Colts putting up big numbers last week. You're looking at the Jets coming off a big win. I think it's still Thursday night football, and it's still 2 incomplete offenses. And therefore, I would like the under in this Thursday night matchup. I think the line is a little bit high.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's a little bit high. I think it's there's obviously a recency bias as to the scores that the Jets are being involved in. So I'm going to move on the Jets team total under, and I'm going to wait. There is your Thursday nighter.